welcome to the very last stage of the campaign stages of the campaign guide, of course 78 to 84, here on the rr26 campaign guide on the road to this final award. That is Maxine Dupree. Currently 775 people roughly have her. Of course, we do hopefully in this campaign guide, in these campaign guides, of course, from the previous three parts and this one, it can help you see how to get Maxine. Alright, so let's just get into it quite quickly. Of course, we'll be showing equipment. There's stats only one time in this, to save time, and we also will not be showing the recaps as much. However, though, I will be discussing. Of course, you can watch it back, so if you did not know, so for whenever you support or anything like that. So firstly, also on the left of your screen is the campaign spreadsheet, is that I'll be using. Of course, feel free to look at the matches on the spreadsheet. As you can see, it'll say the gender, whether it's a solo or tag, the stat that's been called, and the value to beat. Of course, if you do see a 258 negative or a 129, that is a table, and that is a addition onto this 2 million per se. Okay, firstly 78. Highly recommend you have Zelina Vega for this, because Zelina Vega manager, I should be more specific and say a Zelina Vega manager. And the reason for it is because we have two 900k matches. So firstly, we've got a 914, then 908, and then a 2 million plus a 2.25 using a table. So for this, we are going to use AJ Styles for this, and we are going to be using some newer people as well. We're going to introduce AJ Styles, Kit Wilson into the airfare that we've not used in any parts of the campaign guide. Oh god, is he? Oh yeah, it's fine. Alright. So yes, we're going to be using Izzy from the Fusions, AJ Styles, and we're going to be using this, the red Batista, not the corporate Batista as well, I like to say, or Hollywood Batista, as he's much better in power. And also our Grande Americano as well, which the original our Grande Americano with a rank of 5194. So please do keep that in mind. Of course, we do have Opus as well that we could use, but we don't have the equipment to showcase it because I did not pay for it. So starting off, of course, we do have AJ Styles with his first match of the campaign guide, and he wins in a 914. He's actually procs as well, which is perfect. Not like I needed it, but of course there is AJ Limited Edition. Of course, Izzy Dame next with just loses to Liv Morgan. Of course, she does have a champ boost as well. If you struggle with that first match, perhaps, of course, she can win as well. Now, this will be your super move match. Of course, do be aware of that table. Of course, 700. It will be in the 1 million, as you see here. There it is, 1.013 on both cards. Of course, plus any additional hundreds or thousands that may not be showing. Okay, perfect. Right, next up, 79. Now, with stage 79, we have a 1 million toughness female match, which is something that we are, quite frankly, we're not challenging. Because can't bother challenging that, because it is way too high. Any 1 million stat, we will not challenge. So we are looking at speed matches in this situation. Now, I'm actually going to be using Liv Morgan here, just to not really show AJ. We'll be showing AJ a bit later on in the campaign guides. So, of course, we do have a very annoying match here, really. Well, I wouldn't say annoying, just a more difficult match. Of course, Liv Morgan should realistically be in momentum, just to show that you do not need a support to do this. So, do bear with me. I will be flicking over people regarding their supports. So where is Liv Morgan? Here she is. And this is just the normal Liv Morgan, by the way. It's not the special edition one. It's also not Becky Lynch. It's also not Julia, who are very much better alternatives as well, but there is Liv Morgan. Now we should actually use the static Heenan that we've got anyway, because it's better. She may actually still lose, which is kind of upsetting really, but we will have to find out. Of course, that AJ Styles match is very easy. Yeah, 980k on that AJ Styles. Of course, alternatively, you can use Kit Wilson as well in this match. Of course, there is also planned to be a special Kit Wilson. Oh god, I forgot about this. I've read a match wrong. Right, bear with me. So yeah, I just completely forgot. And yeah, we're not using Maxine. Maxine is not part of this. So just bear that in mind. So I'm just going to show the person I would use instead of Maxine, because you will not have Maxine. We'll just use Izzy Dame for this case, and we'll just do it again, just because we did have a blunder there with Maxine. Because all this footage is unedited, so you will see the bloops as well, as they do happen. So firstly, AJ Styles wins, as mentioned previously. It's just some female matches are the annoying ones. Of course, this is a super move match. Well, that match I would super move there at 1 million in stats, which is basically the red flag for me, is to see 1 million. And then Liv Morgan, we will use a Universal Championship just in case, even though it is a 804 if I remember correctly. Yep, it's an 804, almost 805. So it would have won without it, but why not use the Universal Champion? And that's how you do it without a Maxine. You've got to make sure, because it's every single arrow, so Maxine will be a primary option for me. But yeah, that is how you do stage 79. Stage 80 goes back, stays on this link of needing 800k, almost 900k. Now, we do have to bear in mind, AJ does also have equipment, specific equipment, which actually we will not be needing for this match. Now, I'm actually going to get rid of Maxine. I'm just going to put Chelsea Green on there. Okay, so she will be more than fine. Now, we will have to be aware. We will have to use a ladder, which will get us to over 900k. Of course, you could also use Kit Wilson in this as well, instead of AJ Styles if you do not have AJ Styles. Or, alternatively, Randy Orton from the Viper is Toxic. Code. Of course, you can get a free pro of him. This is where we're going to use our support here with Liv Morgan. Of course, make sure to put some equipment on Chelsea instead of what I've done. But of course, there is a 1.4, which is roughly 520,000 that you need to get a minimum of 522. Is highly recommended for that. But yeah, that is how you do stage 81. Stage 81 now is actually a bit more difficult because we have a 800k match, but a power match. Now, this match is difficult. Well, I would say difficult, it's actually not. It can be very thought upon. So, of course, we will need to use Liv again, which we will use in a... No, we're not. We can literally use anyone. So, in this case, we're just going to showcase AJ Lee off with, I think, the AJ Styles vest. And she is fine. Yep, she's fine. And then we need to use a power margin, not that Zelina, because that Zelina is weak. It's the other Zelina that we will need to use. And we are going to actually change as well. I'm just going to showcase Jade Cargill in this field, in this match. Of course, we used her in the previous campaign guide. In the previous stages, the 64s to 70s campaign guide, if you have not seen that already. If you, unless you don't really need to use it, because you've maxed every single one out. which if you have, congrats, because you will have a Maxine for doing so. Just gonna make sure that how much. Oh, okay, yeah, Jid with a proc. Izzy would have been fine actually without it. So with what we used. So yeah, this is the match I would definitely super move, as we do have a quite difficult there 900s. Of course, we're using Matt Gordon from Toxic Protein Bar, which is a code, and then of course Kit Wilson. There is actually a limited edition Kit Wilson that could be releasing later today. As of recording, it is the 28th of February. So there should be a new Kit Wilson limited edition, which should be more powerful than what we are currently using. But there we go. That is stage 81 showed. As we just show, of course, super moving at first match. Stage 82 now will require Jade and Izzy Dame, of course, as we move on to the final levels of this campaign guide. Now, I will highly recommend using basically anyone decent in power. Basically anyone good in power. So in this case, we're going to be using AJ Styles. Alternatively, though, Obafemi, Batista will work as well, just as well. So we do not actually have a power equipment in use. So AJ's still going to be fine regardless. And we will use a table in that first match. Of course, that 2 million there in stat points, because we will knock them down to lower stat points first of all, as you will see here. So 981 and then 946. Of course, lowering these down to just under the 800k mark, and Izzy actually propped as well, which is helpful. AJ Styles goes in with this next match. Of course, you can use Obafemi, Batista, Eric, Ivar, basically LA Knight, El Grande Americano, original El Grande Americano, to help support that match as well. Of course, super moving that third match of 2 million combined. So of course, about the 530s, I would say there is safe. Well, I would say 530s, that's a lie because of compatibility, but of course, over 1 million, and you've guaranteed a win in stage 82. Stage 83 now is a similar problem, and we do actually have a male charisma match and a female toughness match. So this is where I mentioned previously about having 2 matches that are very high in their stat number. Respective stat number. So 900k on Kit Wilson. Now I'm just going to see, and we do have Matt Cardona, of course, from Toxic Protein Bar. Now we will be using the skipping. Now the skipping difference from a normal probe support is roughly 12.8 thousand, or 12.6 thousand, I think it is actually. So do bear that in mind. Of course, an F3 is much less of a difference. Of course, AJ will win that first match. Now we're actually going to use let's use Obafemi for this, but let's take AJ's equipment off him first of all before we do anything, because he's actually more prominent in speed. So do keep in mind on that. But of course, he's just a limited edition car, which is just very good in most stats anyway. Oh god, nope. We would lose. Hang on. Jake Corrin needs to lose her equipment. And fast. Well, both of the females will need to lose their equipment actually, even though they are the super moves. So, Lady Flammer's mask. Of course, we don't have a open momentum, so that is another consideration, which we will actually put momentum because I'm not actually going to be using him in the final level of 84. Oh god. Because we are not using live at all. Okay, I would just going to put Matt Cardona in instead of AJ Styles. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. There'll be some. That'll be fine. Okay. So, firstly, Obafemi will win his match very easily. It's an F1 Oba, bear in mind, but difference is it's about 8,000, I'm pretty sure. So, it's along them lines. Izzy Dame and Jade Cargill is your super move match in this instance, as we're going to be focusing that second and that third match of the 2.1 million. Main reason being is there's not really any good toughness females. Of course, you do have Charlotte from the Royal Rumble cards. And of course, the special editions now, Kit Wilson and Matt Cardona get to 2.3 million. Because they are just scraping the 1 million, the 1.55s into 2.1s. Of course, skipping is, like I said, a 12.6k difference in their stats. So yeah, super move in that second match will get you a win in stage 83. Stage 84 now is the stage in which I'm going to focus on more, and this is where we are also showcasing someone called AJ Lee again. So AJ Lee, so with her battle pass, AJ Lee will actually have her equipment, meaning that she will get a very big increase onto her boots. There's the elimination chip crate, by the way, which you can get for free in the Supercard web store. So AJ Lee is at over a mil. Now we are using Chelsea Green in this one. However, alternative options actually that don't require Liv Morgan are Becky Lynch and Bailey, the Raw card for Becky Lynch. Julia's Raw SmackDown card with Bailey or Natty actually, who's coming up quite soon. So do keep an eye on them because they are actually quite useful and quite good alternatives with these special editions. So I'm going to be putting AJ Lee in, and also Chelsea Green, if I can find it, that she is. And then for our power match, we are going to be using Obafemi and AJ Styles to help support us in this one. And then for our speed match, we going to use the tag team of Matt Cardona and of course Kit Wilson. So there is 800k, which is perfectly fine. Oh yeah, I forgot to actually scroll down at the last stage, which is just down here. It was 2.3 million on them female matches, which is where a lot of people are having trouble, by the way. So, of course, if you are having trouble with it, don't feel left out, because you're not the only one in trouble with it. So a lot of other people as well facing troubles. Okay, that's a 40k difference, perfect. Okay, and then we need to put in a power equipment on AJ, which no one should have power equipment on. Oh wait, no, Oba will have one of them. The other one is on no one, which is also perfectly a win there. Of course, we will get into this now. Of course, we do only have a focus on the charisma match as for our manager. So firstly, Oba and AJ Styles will win their first match very comfortably, actually, at 912 and 906 there for Dragon Lee and Kane. Perfect. Of course, both of them you can get for free. So you just have to be quite looking at this match. This is where AJ will carry this match. Of course, 1.4 mil there on AJ. She will not need to proc either. So, of course, do bear that in mind. She does anyway, but she did not need to. And then if we use our super move, 1.7 mil, 1.9 mil. And then you see Undertaker on 1.6, 1.4 by the end of it. And that is the end of this campaign guide, of course. With you watching all of these parts, you hopefully, of course, if you can find if you found the alternatives, if you do not have the exact same as me, you should get this Maxine Dupree at the end of this match. At the end of this map, of course, you have until the 4th of March to complete campaign and go forward from there. So, of course, good luck on your journeys. Of course, thank you very much for watching this little small series here of the campaign guides from stages 57 all the way up to 84. And thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and a goodbye.